Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. Getting a late start today. Shipped out a few parts to different people. Went to the store, in and out of the store, forgot some things, had to go back. I went to the store 4 times a day, to the grocery store. Then somebody was distracting me. I think I even left some change in the change machine. Anyway, I'm back here at this cylinder head to do these valve stem seals. I got my clamp that I used to do the valve stem seals. I pulled that pin out, took my piece off the end so I can put these keepers back in. Now, I had an issue with this thing, with the special tool I got that you load and unload these valves. Got a little problem here. That tool really depends on gravity to help you out. Because I'm not on a flat horizontal surface and I'm pitched this way with the valves on the intake, pitched this way with the valves on the exhaust. Let's just say these valves are, instead of being 90 degrees, I'm at 85. When I compress them, instead of the keepers falling straight down, they're falling toward the front of the car. They're not falling in their channel. That's a problem with getting the keepers to go in on top of the valves. Then on the back side, instead of being 90 degrees, I'm at like 120 degrees. Really out of whack. I say all that to say this. With the head in the car and the gravity angles not working for you and how strong these springs are. This is a performance engine. I do not think you can use that tool to get these valves back together. You might get them out. I even had a problem with one of them coming out and exploding and pieces disappearing on me. But you can get them out with that tool. You're going to have to use a different tool to get them back. So what I'm going to do is I got this piece here, which is part of one of these other tools under there. Some of this is off of it. Anyway, I'm going to put this on here and use this to reload my valves, because the quick release tool, the quick install tool is not working for me. So I'm going to use that to get these valves back together. Hopefully that'll go quick for me. Got a valve installed in maybe 4 minutes. Keepers in there. Hooked up this contraption like this. Nice and easy. Now I could put the lifter back on there. Work on the one on the back side. I need to pull the seals out of there and then hook the valve up. However, I am down a keeper assembly, so that's gonna, one of those valves gonna have to wait till last. I'm gonna keep moving, see how much of this I can get done. Then if I only need one keeper and cap, I'll just get one. Got my tool in today, valve stem seal pliers. That's what Amazon said they was, and they came in this package. Don't say nothing about valve stem seals for these funny hoses. Anyway, this is the one I borrowed from Nordic, and this is the one I got in the mail. So I'm going to see how these work. I'm going to pull these 2 seals out of this exhaust side and put 2 new seals in there. These seals are so hard and brittle, the tops are popping off. Let me go ahead and set 2 new seals in there after I wet them with oil. I was putting this exhaust valve in and it popped loose. The keeper jumped up, rolled across that pad, over that air filter tube, and fortunate for me, down to the ground where I could find it. So I got this one in. I'm gonna go ahead and put the spring on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lifter in and move on to the next cylinder. I rolled the cylinder down. I'm gonna pull this rope out. I actually end up with 12-foot of rope in there now. Now I'm gonna move over to the next cylinder. I'm gonna drop something in there, get it to its lowest point, and then drop the rope in there. Cylinder 2. Number 2's down pretty far. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the rope down there and raise the cylinder. I'm going to use my leverage tool along with that to get the valve unloaded. For 3 tries, I got it out. Nothing's lost. Pull the spring out, pull the seal out, put a new seal in, and keep it moving. Working on valve number 8 out of 20. Let me put it this way, I am never doing this again. If you do it this way, you're supposed to save time, save some money. Man, spend the money. You gotta buy a head gasket, you gotta buy head bolts, intake manifold gasket, exhaust manifold gasket. I promise you that $200 you're gonna spend is worth it. It is worth it. Today I'm 3.5 hours in. I have 10 valves done. I actually had a visitor. William came by. You will not believe what William did. He found the keeper I lost, and he found the spring cap that I lost. And I got a new keeper from Nordic, so I was good to go. He left. I replaced the seal, intake number 3, passenger side. Went to go put that thing in, was having a little bit of struggle, picked it up, fell down in between the fuel rail. So I'm gonna keep her down again, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish as much as I can. That keeper didn't go far, it's down behind this intake. So if I got to, I'll pull the fuel rail, pull the intake, find that keeper, and keep on going. But it's down there, it didn't fall anywhere else. I fished down there with a magnet I've been looking for 10 minutes, can't find it yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and put one of these keepers in there, keep going until I get to the end, finish all these up, and then I'm gonna come back to number 1 and reload this valve with the keepers I got missing, regardless of how deep I gotta dig to find that one. I lost that keeper because that screwdriver tip not magnetized enough, and it doesn't have sticky grease on it. Fell off the tip while I was going over to put it in. Now I remember that my Allens from Home Depot are magnetized. So I'm gonna go find that and use that to put these keepers back in, because this, trying to use grease on the tip of that screwdriver is not working that well. 16 valves done, 4 to go, 1 keeper lost. You know, I probably rather fight Mike Tyson for 3 rounds than to do this again this way. I've thought of several things that I would rather have done to me than to do this again this way. So, I say all that to say this. Do not expect me to mix a video on how to remove the valve stem seals with the engine in the car. It ain't worth it, man. Half the time, I could have taken this head off, lapped the valves, replaced these valve stem seals, and put this stuff back together. This is not the way to do this. I don't see how anybody does it like this. In this video, I want to talk to you about replacing the valve stem seals with the head on the engine and the engine in the car. I've been at this, unfortunately, this I think is day 3. Now, let me just cut to the chase. Don't do it. I would rather Mike Tyson overhear me talking about his mama for 45 minutes and then get into a ring with him to box for 3 rounds, other than do this again. This is brutal. I have done valve stem seals on several cylinder heads. Pull a head out of the car, set it up, pull the valves, lap them, change the seals, put them back in the head, put the head back in the car. Man, I'm telling you, that is easy compared to this. I'll do that 10 times before I would do this once. If it ain't losing the keeper, you got a hassle jamming the rope down the hole. If it ain't the valve trying to fall down, it's the compression tool. Now, I got a method going that's going smooth, but I'm telling you, my back is going to be hurting all night. Just don't do it. They got these special tools here. Don't even go there either. Don't think that tool's going to work on these Volvo heads. These Volvos have been designed in conjunction with Porsche, these white block engines. The valve springs are, I would consider, high performance, higher tension springs. Unless you weigh 250, 300 pounds or better, that tool is going to be useless. Then that tool depends on gravity. Here it is over here. 2-piece tool. Man, anybody want this? Just let me know. I will send it to you free of charge. How this thing works, you put this over the valve after you remove the lifter. You push down on it. If you get it pushed down far enough, this magnet inside the tip of it is supposed to suck the keepers away from the top of the valve. Then you let it up. These are going to push you up. Ain't no letting these up. These will push you back up, and then the cap will stick on it too. So the theory is you push it down far enough for the keepers to get sucked against the magnetic edge, and then the cap gets stuck on the magnetic edge, and you pull it up and you're done, man. It's a 3-second deal. I've done a few of them. 3, 4, 5, 6 tries to get them things loose. One time I tried to get some help with a leverage tool, and when it came up, it slipped. Valve parts went everywhere. I had to get somebody over here and pay him a finder's fee to find the parts I lost. You know, so this. Then you put this on in conjunction with this, and you put the valves back together. You put the spring back in there, you set the spring cap on there, you set the keepers in there, you set this in there, the right size one, you push down on there. The theory is that gravity will help you while this tool keeps the keepers in the general vicinity, and gravity will let those keepers fall back on the valve, and when you lift it back up or it pushes you back up, everything's well. I got one of those to do that. The other 6 or 7 I tried with this thing, it didn't work. Partly because with the Volvo head, as you can see, those valves are on an angle like this. Gravity causes things to fall that way. Then the back ones are even worse. They're probably on a 30, 40 degree angle. Those, I couldn't get none of those to work, even with a leverage tool helping me. So then there's other ways. You know, I got this other tool down here with the Volvo valve compressor on it, and you know, all this. Man, don't do it. Just pull ahead. Just, you know, I hate to say that's the right way to do it, but you know, it seems like the right way to do it after what I've been through. So right now I have 4 to go. I've got a keeper missing, fell down through the intake manifold, so it's down on the front of the engine somewhere, and then I gotta clean this up, put the rest of the head back together, which is gonna be a mess, with the engine still together. So, don't do it. That's my take on it. Don't do it. Thanks for watching. All right, let's look at this on a pros and cons deal. Doing the valve stem seals with the cylinder head still in the car on the on the engine. The pros is you save $200. You don't have to buy a head gasket. You don't have to buy intake manifold gasket. You don't have to buy exhaust manifold gasket, and you don't have to buy head bolts. Save $200. The cons: time consuming. I'm gonna add up the time. I estimate this is probably going to take another 4 to 6 hours. Number 2, you don't get to lap your valves. So if your valves have carbon built up on them, you could burn a valve within the next 12 months. That's a con. Number 3, it takes longer. Number 4, you gotta buy special tools in order to do this with the engine together. Number 5, you run the risk of losing keepers. I've lost 4 or 5 keepers. Being careful, I've lost 4 or 5 keepers. I found all but one, but I've lost 4 or 5 of them. Then, if you lose something, you got to go back and buy it. Number 6, you got to clean the cylinder head off in the car. Where's all that solvent going? Whatever you're using to clean the top of the cylinder head off. That's hard. So, in my opinion, you got more cons than pros. I'm sure there's other cons, like my back hurting, like me using more flashlights, like me stressing and straining more. It's just a harder job to do with the cylinder head still attached to the engine. So that's my take. Do what you want. I'd rather get beat up by Mike Tyson after I've totally ticked him off than to do it this way again. It might work fine for other cars with valves pointing straight up and down, valves that don't have high performance springs on them, stuff like that. But as far as these Volvos are concerned, white blocks, don't even think about it. I'm out. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.